Hello everybody, you're looking at another F36T8. Yes, we happen to see a lot of those, don't we? This one happens to be a Thorn, and it is a whitehawk. Okay, so this is a double F36T8 batten made by Thorn Lighting, and I call it the whitehawk. Okay, the batten was white from factory. I just painted the lamp holders white so we get matching colour. And there we have the Thorn Lighting Whitehawk, the coolest double batten, I should say, okay, in F36T8 fluorescent, okay. It will also chamber 18 watt LEDs as well. So so this is a batten here that I've had. I got this from school actually back in, no, I think it was back in 2012, I think, or 2013, okay. And I did have a video of this on the channel a few years ago, but I decided to update it since this batten has changed, since the changes have happened. Okay, so we'll take a closer look at this and we'll explain about it, okay? So this is made by Thorn Lighting, okay? And this is the double batten, okay? So this is a whitehawk, okay? This batten here is for T8 tubes only. I have a super whitehawk, which is the same thing except the lamp holders are bigger and you can run T12 in it. Okay, so this one, and also the Gold Hawk, which is the single tube version. This is the double version, known as the Whitehawk. Okay, so on the side here, we have F36T8 /LED. You can probably see the old text on there because I used to actually write it on with a permanent marker, but I don't anymore. I actually just print now. Okay, it's the same with the element battens. I used to write on them, but I don't anymore. Okay, I've gone to more of a more digital and more tidier method. Okay, and these are just held on with these, so if I ever need to repaint it, I just peel these off and then I put new ones on and just stick them back on. Okay, now this batten here, when you saw it back in the old days, it used to have a fixed cord. Okay, the cord used to go in through the bottom here. Okay, and there was a cable lock on there. Alright, and on the other end of the batten, it did have cable holders, but not anymore. Okay, so those have all been scrapped, okay, because I used removable cords. The cord this uses is a computer cord like this, okay, because it makes it more convenient, okay, and it makes it more tidy and more easy to carry. So that's why I went to that method. Okay, I've done that with all of my lights, okay, except for the weatherproof ones, because I can't get weatherproof fittings like this, at least right now. Okay, so so this is Whitehawk. You can see it's on here, okay. So this is white, okay, that's the colour of it. It looks like I need to repaint it, okay, but that's probably something I'll do later. Now we have a switch here. Now it's got two switches. That's because each tube has its own switch. So you can have one tube on at a time. Okay. We have our starter receptacles here. We've got one on this end, and of course one on this end. Now on the Gold Hawk, this end was plugged, but on this one it's brought out because it's a double batten. Plate's held on with two screws, one here and one here. Okay. Now this is actually not the original plate that came with this batten. Okay. When I got this from school, I couldn't find the original plate anywhere, so I just took another plate, probably off one of the newer ones, okay, that had starter holes in the middle, okay, and I just plugged those in, and then I drilled holes in it, okay. But since I retired my old earth and old water element batten, I was able to get a plate for it. So what I did was I took the plate off of one of them and just and then stripped all the old paint off and then painted it white. So now I've got a proper plate for this. Okay, now you're probably wondering why this lamp holder has this little nut on here. That's because this back cover kept on falling off. The clips that hold it on are broken, okay? And so I put that on there to hold it shut. Okay, I probably may even need a new lamp holder, but unfortunately I don't have any spare lamp holders for this. So if I do come across another one of these, I'll take a lamp holder off of it and replace it. Okay, so, but that's just holding it shut. Okay, So yeah, there's a lot of history on this batten, and this is actually the batten that I used to compare the LED red and fluorescent red and the fluorescent blue and the LED blue. Okay, so you might remember this. This batten did make an appearance in that video. Okay, and this video batten has made some appearances. You've probably seen it. It sits here. Okay, so we're gonna fire it up. We're gonna use the F36T8 classic fluorescent. We'll also put in some LEDs as well. Okay, but before I do, I better show you the bottom. Okay, so this is the bottom. We have these rings on here so I can hang it or put a strap on it. I do plan on actually replacing these with something else, and okay, well, that's as soon as Bunnings reopens. We have these feet on here there to stabilise it so it doesn't wobble around. We have some holes in the back here. Okay, the ballasts are contained here, so it's got 2 ballasts. Okay, there's the other ring for that, so that end there. All right, so we'll stand it up. All right, so I guess we'll let's fire it up. Okay, so we'll put in some starters. Okay, so they just go in here. So these are Phillips starters, of course. Okay, and when the batten was brand new, it would have come with starters. Okay, which probably had the Thorn brand on them, but I don't have any. Okay, I find these Phillips ones to be quite good actually. Over other ones, the Sylvanias are quite good too. Any starter with that profile I find to be quite reliable. Okay, so now I'll put in some tubes. So we got 2 F36 T8 tubes. Okay, these are both made by Compton. Like the Gold Hawk, you got to put it in here. Oh, hang on, you got to get both ends in, like so. Then you just twist it. Okay, that's a bit tight. Twist it. Okay, and then you repeat for the other side. Put the tube in, and you twist it. Okay, so now the tubes are in. All right, so let's fire it up. Here we go. I'll do 1 tube at a time. So I think this switch here, let's see. Hang on. Okay, we've got a bit of blinkage. I don't know why this side's not working. Oh, there we go. Apparently it's a bit finicky. There we go. So and we got a bit of blinkage out of both of those. So F36 T8. Okay, so that's kind of a classic, ain't it? Okay, bit of a classic for a fluorescent lamp. Okay, some of the old school, yeah. So this was the fluorescent. It was high tech basically. Back in the 60s probably, or back in the 80s, this was basically the thing. But now in the 2000s or the 2010s era, LED became the thing. Okay, so these are just old technology, but they're good collector's items. Okay, so now I can show you how this works. So I can have 1 tube off, okay, and I can have 1 on, like that. Okay, so that's what the switch allows me to do. Okay. There we go, getting a bit of blinkage too. So I'll hold it here. Okay, and we'll turn this, see if we can get some. There we go, getting a lot of beautiful blinkage out of that fluorescent. Let's turn both of them on. Awesome. Let's do that again. Epic. I like the blinkage fluorescent lamps, they're very cool. Okay, this is a preheat system or analog system. Okay, so now we'll put in some LED tubes. So we'll take these out. Okay. Okay. I've got to be careful because they're glass and they're fragile. Don't want to break anything. Okay, now we'll take these out because we need to put in special starters for the LEDs. Okay. Now the starter receptacles in this are a bit tight. I can't really use HPMs because they're not really suited for this type of batten, really. So you're better off replacing them with the same type. So I'll put some of these LED starters in. Okay, they're the starters for the LED tubes. Okay, or fuse. Okay, but I classify it as a starter because these are needed, otherwise the LED tubes don't work because they're part of the circuit. Okay, the LED tubes we're going to put in 2 SAL neutral white. Here we go. Okay, now with these tubes, when you put these in, you can see you have to put them in right because you've got this strip along here where the LEDs are, so you want that facing the plate. You don't want that facing away from you. So you basically put it in like this. So like that, okay? And when you put it in, be aware that the light is going to be shooting kind of that way or that way. It's not going to be shooting straight down in this batten. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. It's the same for the super batten as well. Okay, so these are LED. So these are not going to blink. They're just going to come on straight away. So here we go. There we go. LED. 18 watt. Okay, SAL. Oh, we got a bit of flicker out of that one. It's probably because they're dodgy contacts. I need to clean the contacts up in there. I should get a wire wheel in there and clean them up because there's dust in them too because it's been sitting there for a while. I have cleaned this up a few times, but that's beautiful. LED. And they're actually a lot brighter than these, because these are old technology. Okay, they've been around, probably been around for about 100 years. Okay, probably, maybe less. I don't know when the fluorescent came around. Probably came around in probably the 40s or the 50s. Okay, so it's been around for probably about 80 odd years. Okay, it's very old technology. Okay, but these LEDs have been around. LED's been around for quite some time as well. Okay, but it's evolved over the years. Okay, so these are technically the technology we use now in 2020. Okay, so yeah, even during these apocalyptic times, you see people using LED tubes. Okay, so that's beautiful, and once again, you can have one on at a time. Okay, so that can be because this is basically the function of this batten. You can have one tube on at a time, or you can have both on. As with the gold hawk, you only have one tube. Okay, so we're going to take these out because this is a very nice batten, a very cool batten, to be perfectly honest. It's very beefy. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put in some of these coloured LED tubes that I bought for the element battens. Okay, so because I have other battens that I could use these in. Okay, I can use them in basically any of my battens. Okay, now the blue one I only have in the 1.2 metre. I don't have it in the shorter length. I'm still trying to get it. Okay, but these are very similar probably to the LED strip lights and those LED panels, the beams ones. Okay, now these ones here, you got this metal chassis, so you want that facing the plate. Okay, so then we got a blue, and we actually have I think this is a green. Okay, so let's fire these up. Here we go. There we go. So blue and green LED coloured. Okay, so that's pretty nice, ain't it? Got a blue and nice combination there. Blue and green LEDs. How nice is that? You can never go wrong with that, ain't it? Oh yeah, that's nice. Mood lights. Okay, so we got blue, which would probably represent your winter, and green probably to represent spring, because spring is only tomorrow. Spring starts tomorrow in September, so there you go. And even during, well, let's hope, because the spring will probably help us improve this apocalypse that's been going on lately. Okay, but yeah, so that's beautiful. I like that. Okay, I bought these mostly for the element battens, but I use them basically for anything, light shows, okay, and even the Christmas batten as well. Okay, so there's just blue, and there's just green. Okay, so there you go. So that is my Thorn lighting white hawk batten. Hope you enjoyed, and that'll be it.